Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Poro Report, your one-stop shop for all things Legends of Runeterra. As always, I am Smithel along with my co-host Cozer. And our special guest this week, brought to you from the ranks of Master himself, is Saucekay. How you doing, buddy, today?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Well, hey, thanks for stopping by. I mean, I know kind of everybody's busy with everything going on, and so you taking time out this evening is always good for us. So, but
How
let
did
me
you
ask you
just
this.
butcher his name? Like, he is one of the greatest names in, like, the history of time, and
you
you
think it would
fucked
be
it
easy,
up.
especially me being like an anime fan and all that kind of stuff, hearing the word Sasuke a million
Fake
times.
anime fan. It's
It's
literally in every show. Sasuke!
No, it's I'm just a terrible stutterer whenever I start thinking in one direction or thinking too far ahead. But anyway, so apart from me butchering your name, how else have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been doing a lot of stuff like offline these last couple weeks, but I think I will have time this weekend to join Jamfest, so
Oh, awesome.
hopefully I'll be able to do that. Other than that, just gonna be doing some more work stuff offline.
Oh, awesome. So here, but before we kind of get into the depth of the show, I know one thing that we kind of like to do is give our listeners the opportunity to understand maybe who you are if they're not familiar with you. So if you were to give us the elevator pitch of who is Sasuke, what got you into card games? What do you like about lore? How do you feel about the current meta? How do you feel about what's going on as far as maybe what you're playing, what other people are playing, what you're going up against. How was your beta experience? Because this being the first time on the show for us, I don't think we've had the chance to talk about what you thought of the beta compared to full release.
So to answer the first question, what got me into card games? I actually started playing card games when my friend Caden, who I'm still friends with, by the way, I met him when I was like 6 years old. So that's pretty cool. But in like first grade or something, his cousin was really into Magic the Gathering. And so he got Caden to play Gathering. And so then
Okay.
he got me to play Magic the Gathering. And ever since then, I'd always played a card game of some type.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't think it was like until I was like 16 or 18 that I really started to get into more like competitive style card games. And yeah, and then I played Artifact and Gwent to a pretty like competitive level, and then I played a lot of League of Legends. And then when I heard that Riot Games was coming out with a League of Legends card game, I just had to play it. I love League of Legends. I love the lore. Zed was my favorite character, and so when I saw him in the closed beta, I like played a bunch of Zed decks.
Ugh.
Got- was
You're one
kind
of
of
those dead folks in League of Legends, huh?
yeah, yeah. Sorry to say, but yeah. Was not a fan of Zed in Legends of Runeterra. He's like kind of super binary. You just attack with him and he's good.
Yeah.
But that being said, I had a great time with the beta. I think the beta was really really good. Like it felt like a lot like a complete game, and then full release is just kind of like an extension of the
Mhm.
beta. So I don't know. I've had a lot of fun.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things that similar to you. I remember whenever they announced the card game. Actually, I think it was back in October. I was watching that 10 years of Riot kind of video, and when I saw everything that they were releasing, it was a great day. But the Legends of Runeterra was definitely one of the things that drew the most attention to me. We'll put it that way. So I know Kozer and myself were both excited to kind of jump on the train and see how everything goes. But yeah, it's also something that I find interesting that you are another Magic person. And did you say if you played any Hearthstone? I'm sorry if I missed that.
I did play Hearthstone. I didn't play it like too competitively. I just didn't like how grindy it was.
Hmm.
Like I don't mind grinding. Like I played World of Warcraft a lot, so I'm used to the whole grind thing of things. That being said, I just didn't like Hearthstone's grind. I mean, I don't know. Uh, yeah, not a huge Hearthstone fan, but Magic the Gathering I like a lot more.
Yeah, I wish I got more into Magic Gathering. I didn't have many people playing it, and at my age there wasn't a an online option per se that I was aware of. But yeah, that's kind of awesome to do the quick catch up for folks that aren't too familiar with you. The first segment that we like to cover, and I know you talked a little bit about this, saying that you were busy, is more or less like a week in review, what you were up to last week, since last Thursday would have been our last show. What decks are you currently playing? If you have gotten a chance to play a little bit, um, we're going to talk a little bit about the news that they released. I'll say hold off on maybe your thoughts on that for their kind of the roadmap that they put out. But overall, how's your week in lore been?
So I haven't gotten to play too much, but a teammate of mine, because I played in the last Jam Fest, and I made it to top 16 in that, and then I was shoutcasting last weekend.
Okay.
But so a teammate of mine, his name is Alessio. He came up with this Kleptomancy list that I am absolutely in love with. We're going to talk about it later today, but that has been like my main go-to deck. It is just so good and so fun, and he hit rank 5 playing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it, and I know I won't give away too much, but Kleptomancy decks are one of my favorite type to play. I know a lot of people hate them, but it's fun playing them, but it sucks to be on the opposite side of them for sure.
Yeah, when you're playing against the Kleptomancy deck and they draw all of your win conditions, you just want to go through the screen, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It does not feel good, that's for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, that's good. That's kind of good news. But Coz, what about you? What have you been up to, buddy?
Honestly, I've been playing Norms a lot, just getting my challenges done this week. I wasn't really in the mood to play ranked much, even though I need to grind it. Grinded a little bit today while I was at work when I had some downtime or whatever. But yeah, just playing Bannerman. It's super fun. Bannerman meta has been around for like 6 years now, and it's just the same old meta. So I'm really excited to keep playing the same stale old meta. So yeah, I don't know. I was hoping that the nerfs and changes would change up the meta even more and shuffle it up. But like honestly, a lot of the same decks are there, and some of the old decks are just coming back that are really frustrating to deal with. So it's like, I don't know. Do I just play Karma Ezreal and hate my life and hate myself as a person, or do I just go play Valorant? It's been kind of a weird week.
Yeah. I mean, at least on my end, I know that while there is some of the same meta, I played a lot of Bannerman, obviously, in Plat and then early Diamond. And I'm still in Diamond. I peaked at D1 and I dropped to D3, and right now I'm hovering at about D2. I got to like D260 and then was down to D20, then back up to like D240, which is where I'm at now. I'm definitely kind of at this 50-50 range where I can't quite beat that. And so I've tried a couple different decks, and I kind of have the opposite feeling of you. Is like I don't see many Bannerman, at least anymore these days. Nor do I see a lot of Karma Ezreal. If there's an old deck that I would say I see pretty frequently, it would honestly be Heimer Vi. That's the only one, at least, that I've been seeing. I mean, and granted, you may be getting a different experience. Now, there still is, obviously burn aggro, and we just get the Teemo version of it as opposed to what's it called, the rear guard axeman or the rear axe, whatever.
Yeah, the championless burn with rear guard.
Yeah, basically it's just that, but Teemo instead of rear guard. So I mean, I'm getting that. It's rough. I mean, I like
a little bit of that. It's just honestly, it's just like felt like the decks that I have to run. Like I don't enjoy playing Karma Ezreal just because like I feel like a scumbag. So then I switched to Bannerman, and it does all right. It's just it loses so fucking hard to deep, and this current meta right now is Swim's tier list has really quite confused people, because I really don't agree that deep is a tier 1 deck or an S tier deck, and neither is the Sejuani MF list either. I really don't think either of those decks are S tier, but a lot of people are playing them, and I guess like Bannerman can struggle with them, and especially anytime there's like pilfered goods on the other team, like they can basically just rob your shit. So, and when they steal your unyielding, and then literally post the GG emote, kind of makes you want to end your life because you know that you can't deal with it in any way in your deck because you don't run will, especially if you're running like mono Demacia. So it's like unless I'm running Purify, I really can't do anything about it.
I've seen a lot of mono Demacia lists, at least in the Masters ladder. They'd be running triple Detain.
Yes.
Yeah, I could be running Detain.
I've seen something like that. I mean, I think so. Here's my kind of view on tier lists, and not just Swims. I mean, Swims obviously very knowledgeable, knows kind of what he's talking about. I think we can all kind of agree on that. But my view on tier list isn't so much of.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Some days. I'll go with some
much.
Swim is a smart guy, but some of his shit can kind of be a hot take, and the thing is because he's really, really popular, a lot of people will listen to it and just play it and then find out later on that Swim might have been wrong about some things.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way I kind of view it is more or less just it's for me a guide of what I'm going to be seeing on ladder. You know, if I feel more comfortable with a tier 2 deck, as what some people would describe, chances are I'm going to prefer to play that over a tier 1 deck, even if it technically has a higher win rate according to Mobilytic stats or whatever the case may be. I just view more of it that way, of saying, okay, you know, what is this deck? What am I going up against? What's their win condition? All that information that maybe I'm not familiar with. But for the most part, I think that, and this is my opinion, is that there's enough variety currently to what people are playing, and that I think the range of what would be considered tier 1 is much wider now than what it's been for a long time. I mean, like I would argue that Deep is a tier 1 list. I had a
try
lot
getting
of
Masters with it.
I mean,
that's what got me up.
That's what got me to D1 whenever I peaked out.
And then it will slowly start to shit the bed on you, and that's the problem with the deck. Is the deck is a hard chance to stay at a 50% win rate or a 51% win rate because you can't be at 50.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's broken to the point where you're at like 60, 70%. But I would say if you played exclusively Deep, you could probably go to about 55% pretty consistently.
Then why aren't you Masters yet, Smithel? Do you want to talk about?
I don't play that much in comparison to others. So like I'm getting a game in here there on my phone. Like I don't sit down rarely and do like 8-hour streaks or anything like that.
Pretty sure you play more than me. Don't you always get your chest like past level 13? I haven't had my chest level 13 in like a month. I don't know. Like it's been a while, dude.
Yeah, but I primarily have been playing normals. So I'll be doing a little bit of ladder, but my issue with ladder is, first, I feel like I got ladder anxiety, and I don't know, Saucekay, if you ever kind of feel this way whenever you're trying to get close to the next like plateau of safety, is like if I'm at that 50% win rate, or I'm starting to see that the deck I'm playing is getting countered more because the meta is shifting, I almost want to stop playing ranked and jump into normals and start testing other decks just to get an idea of how to play them.
Well, so I mean, I don't really get like ladder anxiety unless I get like top 20 or top 30, and then I start getting nervous because like I'm trying to break into top 10.
Yeah,
which I did once in beta, but I wasn't able to do. I haven't done it since.
Okay.
That being said, if you find yourself running into like let's just say you're playing Deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you go into Heimer Vi, which is a great counter because they have access to Will of Ionia and they have Vi's as well, which are just really great answers. So if you run into one Heimer Vi, you're like, oh, okay, fine, sure, you just keep playing. But if it happens twice, you're like, okay. I always have like a 3-strike rule. If it's 3 times in a row, like I'm gonna stop for at least an hour or so and then come back to it later, because chances are you're just running into the same like 4 or 5 people that are playing that deck, and then if you just wait about an hour or so, they're either going to stop playing or they're going to swap on to something else. Or, I mean, those,
And
those are the odds.
then
So.
you play 3 Bannermen in a row that it would have been nice to be on deep Mono Demacia. So, yeah.
Yeah, I usually just stick to one deck for a day. Because if you start swapping around, especially when you are losing, it's you're like already kind of tilted, right? That's why you swap decks, and so you're already not playing at your best skill set, and then you just kind of snowball and make it worse for yourself. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, I try to, and maybe this isn't the best way to look at it, is I try to at least do like 10 matches with a deck before I really swap off of it. Now, I may jump into normals with it, if I hit a bad streak to say, okay, I'm not obviously piloting this correctly, and just test it out. I mean, the problem with normals, though, is just you could run into all kinds of crazy, decks and things like that that aren't going to necessarily give you the best practice against what you're going to see on ladder. But, one that I've been having a little bit of luck right now is Endure Spiders. That seems to be doing okay, so I'm going to run that out for at least a couple more games and see if maybe at least it can push me into D1. If not, maybe I'll start considering a switch out again because I think that's in a relatively good spot right now, especially because I'm not seeing as many Heimer Vi's, at least in the past day or two, that I have before. I don't know if something happened or somebody came out with a good counter to it that I just missed or what's going on.
Yeah, Heimer Vi is in a really, really good place right now. Like Heimer Vi is, I would say, like the king of the meta.
Yep.
And then I would put Bannerman just behind it, and then after that, I would say Deep. But I wouldn't put Deep into tier 1. I would say it's the highest tier 2 deck available.
Okay.
Yeah, just because Heimer Vi is so good.
Yeah, I would agree, and that's kind of what I was running into a lot of times with Deep, and that's why I switch off to it. Is honestly, I was just getting Will. It'd be put down Nautilus, Will, put down Nautilus, Will, put down Nautilus, Will, and at that point, I couldn't do anything over just slowly taking over my board and building layers, which just felt bad. But
as it should.
But yeah, so I know that went a little bit along. We do have some pretty exciting news to cover. So let's get into that. So since the last show, Riot actually put out a video out on Twitter.
Question, is there an actual page? Sorry to interrupt you, but is there an actual...
and I looked for that, and I couldn't find one. If there is,
there's nothing in the news. Okay.
Are you sure? Are you guys sure that it's not on their YouTube channel? I thought
I know it's on their
YouTube,
but like I don't want to pull up a video that talks in the background while we're talking. It's just kind of weird, champ.
Yeah, no, I checked their news page at least on the day they released it, and I think the day after, and I didn't see anything written out. But the video is definitely posted on YouTube, Twitter, a couple different places. But no, I don't think it's like a patch note.
No, I think it just opens up a video.
Yep, same. So basically what Riot put out for folks is what I like to call like the roadmap for where they picture this game to go over the next couple, months, or I even think they planned it out as far as a year for some of the stuff. So I'm just going to kind of run through some of those changes right now, and Saucekay, I'd love to get your opinion on if any of this sounds good to you, if it's something that you'd be excited about or what. But obviously the first one is basically a new game mode that's going to be coming out in June, and so this month, and it's called Gauntlets. And basically it's similar to Expeditions in a way that the goal is to get to 7 wins. Now, I don't know if they said if it's going to be if you lose, you can continue as long as you don't lose 2 in a row, similar to Expeditions right now. But obviously, goal like Expeditions get the 7 wins. But where it's different is these gauntlets, the rule set in which to use to play them are going to change. So the first ones are going to basically be standard deck building rules, which I said is just more or less to get people familiar with the game mode and kind of test it out. But then the second gauntlet, it's going to have a rule set in place where when you're building and creating your deck, you can only have 1 of any given card in it. So you can't run like 3 of the same champion or 2 of anything. It has to be one and done. So I personally like these kind of things, and I'm excited that it's going to give us an opportunity to do deck building outside of Expeditions and outside of ladder that may kind of mix things up a little bit.
I mean, yeah, I think the gauntlets seem pretty fun. I'm actually, that's the one of the like more casual things that I think I'm a little bit more excited to try out. I know they were gonna do the labs as well. I think that one was the one that's like gauntlets, but it's like slightly more casual.
Yeah, so they basically said it's more chaotic and casual than Gauntlets, and they begin the following month. And the way, like, I don't know, I view those more like the tavern brawls in Hearthstone, where I don't know if it's going to change every week or every month or whatever, but it to me it sounds like it's just going to be all off the walls, just do something crazy kind of deal.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. I mean, so like it may not personally appeal to me because I have like a really competitive just
Mhm,
nature, and I can't really be competitive in a casual setting. So
mhm.
that usually isn't as exciting for me. But
I hear you.
I gotta say that like it's a really great thing that they're doing. It's one thing that got a lot of people to play Hearthstone,
Yeah,
and it's a really cool format for a reason. There's a lot of like there's a big reason why a lot of people were drawn to Hearthstone for that,
yeah.
and the fact that Riot Games is doing the exact same thing, I think is awesome, and I'm really excited to see it come.
Yeah, I mean, I think what part that interests me about them is I am not a deck builder by any means. Like, I would be the first to admit I'm a net deck person. I may pull one or two cards out and replace them with one or two different cards. Um, but what I like about the idea of like gauntlets, because I don't think labs are going to let you build as much, at least the way I kind of view them, is that it gives me an opportunity to practice my deck making skills in a way that's not so meta defining of saying, I have to do it this way. There's nothing else that's going to combat the meta. It starts making me think what cards interact with others to meet a certain condition. And then hopefully I'll be able to transition that into here's how I'm going to climb a ladder by building a deck type of situation. Um, so it's to me that's something that's somewhat interesting as a learning tool more so than a competitive scene.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I don't know if the labs one will be like a learning tool so much as the gauntlets will be.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
the labs one, I
Will
know
be
a
a
good
meme.
friend of mine, a good friend of mine is gonna play a lot of that just because he loves like stupid things, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just like that's perfect. And
I wonder
I
if
mean, I'll
it's gonna
probably play it
use
with
my
him.
useless expedition tokens, because I literally have like 10 just sitting
Ooh.
around not being friggin' used. Maybe
You
even
know what?
more than that, honestly.
I didn't
I
think of
hate
that, but
expeditions,
that'd be
man.
kind of a cool way to do it. Is if it was only one a week or whatever, and you could just use your token on any of these game modes. That would be nice,
Yeah,
because
but I
I'm
feel
like
like
you.
they need to have like, how do they do taverns? Like, isn't it once you can play like one per day or something?
You get rewards from it one time. You can play it as many times as you
Yeah, I
want,
think they need to
taverns, but you get
keep it
rewards
that
once.
way. Because I think that's like what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring players in from other games and be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, come try this game mode. It's Pepega, and you're gonna love it, and
Yeah.
it's gonna
And
be
to be
good
fair,
times."
that's how expeditions are now. Is that you get what a max 2 a week that you get rewards from, and then everything else you can keep playing it for free, but you're not going to get anything except for just like a match XP out of it. Um, so I mean, I would be okay with that if it's something that hey, take a token, you can play, get rewards, or build your collection in a different way, or get shards or whatever the case may be. So yeah, it would if there is an entry fee of some sort, I would hope that it would just be a token situation that you can use your expedition tokens on. I'd hate to get another currency.
Yeah, I don't think I'd
It's
want
good.
another currency
Yeah,
either.
same. Like, but let's get on to more exciting shit because this is the bread and butter of the mobile community. Anytime you play a goddamn mobile game, there is basically always monthly events or something
Well,
going on.
to be fair, anytime you play any game these days, it seems like there's like a battle pass and
Yeah,
event or something like
yeah, for
that.
the most part, especially free to play games, because that's how they make their money.
Yeah,
Like, that's what
yeah,
Valorant did. They took my money. They took $10 of mine because why wouldn't I get the battle pass if I'm gonna get some extra skins? They give away some
yeah.
stuff for
And to
free,
be fair, so
but
Riot's done these events in the past. Obviously, they do them through League, they do them through TFT, and all that good stuff. But they did announce that there's going to be events. They're going to begin in July, and it's primarily going to be a way to unlock cosmetic items. So emotes, card backs, boards, all that kind of good stuff. Um, I, am going to buy it. Whatever the cost is, I'm going to be in for it for sure.
$200 worth
I'm
it.
definitely kind of a skin person, and what I like to do. I like kind of personalizing my game board and that.
But are you gonna do it for $200? What if it's
Only if
like,
it's weekly $200.
is it gonna
Yeah.
be worth it at that point? Like, I don't know, man. $200 seems a little steep.
Hey,
It's not gonna be more than
hey,
$10. No game could really do that for a battle pass. They'll give.
you've seen the price. You've seen the price of some of those Valorant guns. I wouldn't put
Oh,
anything
dude. Like,
past what they could charge
honestly,
for anything.
no. But even
You
then,
know,
like,
what is it, like
it's
$71 or something to buy
yeah. But that's a
the
full bundle. Like,
current
there's an
content?
actual decent amount of
Yeah,
stuff in it. Like, this game is not. Like, let's be real. When it comes to LOR, we know that this game is not pay to win. Even though
no.
some reviews might say otherwise
Oh,
on
push talk, buddy. Push talk.
what do you mean push to talk?
No, okay, couldn't hear you. You were cutting out.
Okay, then it was just cutting out because yeah, no, everything's fine on my end. Um, God damn it, Smithel! Now you made me lose my train of thought.
No, okay. But
Fucker.
my bad. My bad. Well, good,
Exactly. Obi, Obi could hear me. You were the only one that couldn't hear me. It's your shitternet. That's what it was. It was your goddamn hillbilly shitternet that couldn't handle it, and
I'll
you
take it.
couldn't hear me. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember what I was saying.
I'll take it.
Is basically any battle pass in any game, they might have like a lower tier battle pass, and then they might add like a premium battle pass. I know Apex did stuff like that. So I can see them doing something like that, but let's be real. The battle pass for the most part is not going to be more than $10 to $20. No game is
Probably.
like that. No,
Probably.
Riot's not that money hungry. Not whatsoever.
Yeah, no, it'll be reasonable, which is kind of nice. The other big piece of news, obviously, coming out from the roadmap, and I think this is the most important part, obviously, is that there are going to be new sets and cards that are going to be dropping in a regular fashion. And so, what it's going to be is a new region is going to drop in August. Then every 2 months, we're going to get smaller expansions of cards that are going to include card drops for existing regions. So that'll be August new region, October, December cards, basically 2 mini expansions is what I'm calling them. And then every 6 months, it'll be a new region. So that'll be the next February and August. We are going to get a release that way. So that's huge to me. I mean, I think that that's going to keep the meta fresh. I think that's going to keep people wanting to come back to the game and not kind of just dip out saying, oh, it's Bannerman for the next 6 months or whatever the case may be. This is something that I think is a great mindset for the folks, for Riot to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw this or not, but in the gauntlets, there's like I give you guys the picture just so you guys can take a quicker or a better glance at it.
Mhm.
But the competitive, it says the first like little bracket, it says competitive series. So I'm really curious to see what that means, and I'm so excited for the roadmap. Like I can't express it, but
Yeah.
They talked about this though. Did you guys watch the video from the actual team talking about it? Like they already talked about a competitive series. I don't think it's going to get released this early. They said it was down the line. They didn't know when, but it was like spectator mode. They're working on it. It's going to be in the game. They know that they need it for tournaments. But they were talking about like basically I have a feeling they're going to do something like Artifact where there's in-game tournaments and you can literally win in-game currency or who knows, that maybe they'll do actual cash prizes or something like that. Because that is like, when people talk about Artifact, that is one thing that they 100% miss from that game is being able to make money from it. I have buddies that we play Valorant with that's like how he's playing tournaments like every week, just make a couple hundred here and there, and just play. It's basically like it's like game battles for like card games. So I understand that I'm excited for something like that too. Like even if they do it something similar to like I don't know, the Pokemon trading card game where you just, again, you spend some tokens, you enter the tournament, you have certain deck restrictions on what you're allowed to run and what you're not allowed to run, and then, bam, you go into an 8-person tournament, and you play it out. Winner gets, like, a chest, and some other things, and some cosmetics and stuff, and it would be cool if they did something like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping to to go back to League of Legends, the Clash mindset with it, where it's a certain weekend where they sit there and say, we are going to be running this game mode. Here's the weekend. You can buy into it using tokens or coins or shards or whatever the case may be. Maybe you get a free entry, every month or every week or whatever. But it's a limited time. You got to participate, get the exclusive rewards. And what I think may be kind of cool about the competitive nature of it would be if you could kind of bank your rewards or bank whatever you earn in it to get more and more like increasingly value cosmetics or card backs or something like that. So you can sit there and say, look, if I want to get the biggest reward, I got to win, 7 in a row, 5 times this month or something like that, to kind of show off your rank that way.
Yeah, that's actually really similar to what MTGA did. Like they have like this if you draft or if you play draft in Magic the Gathering Arena, you can earn these things called gems, which you can also buy. So it's like this in-game currency that you could earn and also pay for. But you use that to enter the tournament, and then like the first day you had to get 7 wins to qualify for the second day. And then on the second day, you had to get 7 wins. But if you got 7 wins, you got a $2,000 cash prize.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. Yeah, and a lot of people entered. My friend entered. He almost made it into the second day. I think he went 6-2, so he didn't quite get there. But it was
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. So
yeah, I'd love something like that. I think that'd be real cool to do. Yeah, and I know we talked a little bit about this, but obviously the final thing that was announced is they are making a couple more things coming in 2020. I think that they're all well needed adjustments to the game. So they said that they're going to update the Master Rank LP. I know that
needs to be done.
It doesn't feel good for.
What do you mean? I thought it felt great. I'd never see people complain about that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel good that if you win 5 games in a row and then lose 1, you're suddenly down below where you started or something like that. So I'm excited for them to try to fix this again. I know they did this before and it didn't really hit too well. So, hey, take another swing at it.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I mean, God. So,
is it worse or better? Like, I honestly feel
worse.
like it's
so much worse.
I feel like even before, even though the swings were so much higher, like I feel like losing 200, gaining 100, it felt better than only gaining 3 or 4 or like 10 or 20. It's like the swings are essentially the exact same thing, but when you see a bigger number, you're happier about seeing a bigger number. Well, I mean, when you lose a bigger number, you're more pissed off to see it. Like when you lose to a Diamond 4 and you go like down like 500.
That's just what I think is one of the issues is getting queued into a Diamond player. I just don't think that should ever happen if I'm Masters.
And as somebody in Diamond right now, when I was Diamond 4 and I queued into somebody that was Master, I kind of was pissed. I'm like, you shouldn't be gatekeeping me. Stay in Masters. Wait a couple of seconds longer for a queue if that's what it takes, but you shouldn't be queuing against low diamond.
Queue times would be insane. It's like, think about how long it takes for everyone to hit Masters, like the first week, every time they do a reset. Like, it would be the most boring shit to deal with.
I'm not talking first week, I'm talking this week. Like, we're far enough out now that there should be enough people in the Masters ladder that they can find somebody to queue up in a minute.
There's 1,800 people, but you also got to remember, everyone could be different time zones. Some people could have duplicate accounts on different regions. I don't know, man.
The way I view it, there should never be a reason that they're going against low diamond. Diamond 1, maybe Diamond 2, sure.
I just don't want to run into the queue times like we used to run into Heroes of the Storm. It literally broke the game. Like, I hate to bring that up all the time, but, like, seriously, it's fucking brutal. And now it's like I have buddies who still play that game competitively, even though there's not really a competitive scene. And if they try to queue up a 5-man team league, they'll literally wait 2 hours. They'll be playing like Scribble just like waiting for like matches to come in and like do other things, because like just to get a match, just to get into Grandmaster, I think is what it's called, they have to sit around forever. And I'm okay with them doing that if they keep Master for like a while, but like if they're gonna reset it every 2 months, like I don't know, dude. I don't know if like I think that's why people like this game is because it's fast and it doesn't feel like you're taking forever. I would be okay if they added an extra division and kind of kept it a little bit more, like make Masters harder, like hard to get into, but also make something that's a little harder, like higher than Masters. But I don't know, man. It's a sore subject to talk about, to be honest.
There's like three issues that I have with the Masters rank. One, and most importantly for me, is that there is no decay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally, once you hit rank 1, there's absolutely zero reason to play ranked.
Yep.
So the people who hit rank 1 are just never going to log in. Therefore, you are never going to hit rank 1 like right now. Secondly, I have on multiple occasions with an 80% win rate lost LP at the end of the day. And then third, like I had just stated, I just don't, because if you queue into a diamond player and then like sometimes they just draw way better than you, and you don't have, and you're going against the deck that beats you, and you don't have the tools that allow you to soften up the matchup, right? So like it's just a perfect storm of everything that goes wrong for you. You lose the game, and then you lose like 80 LP, and like you're just so upset.
Yeah, that feels bad. I think it feels bad on all sides. So I'm wondering how they fix it, and I don't know the answer to it, to be quite honest.
I'm glad I'm not a Riot developer. Let's put it that way. They're gonna have to figure this out. Like whoever's working on it, good luck.
I do agree that there needs to be MMR
100%.
decay. There has to be MMR decay.
There has to be decay. Like that's one thing I think even they can agree on. Like they've talked about it. They were just worried about implementing it. I think I've seen it somewhere talked about, but like they are working on something. They'll fix it, but it's really hard to say this to people and for people to understand. I have yet to play a game that has perfect ranking system. Doesn't matter if it's an FPS. Doesn't matter if it's a MOBA, fucking Call of Duty. I don't care what you're playing. The ranking system sometimes can be unfair, and at the same time, the game also doesn't want to affect the integrity of being able to find a match. So that's where you're always going to find that these random instances where you're going to queue up against someone in Diamond 4, like that used to happen to my buddies that were Grandmaster. They would play against fucking bronze players, like bronze, like they would completely, these guys couldn't even like understand mechanics of the game or simple fundamentals, like, and they were getting queued up against them. Like it made no sense. But that's sometimes the MMR system is a little wonky, and also matchmaking, so it's a little easier on one-on-one in a card game. But I think that they can get to a happy point where at least 50% of Reddit is pissed off, and if that's the case, that's a win in my opinion. If they got 49% of Reddit pissed off, that would be like literally them winning like a gold medal at the Olympics. But if they can at least get 50% of Reddit happy and then the other 50% pissed off, that's a win. Because right now I think it's way higher than that. We're in the 60 to 70 range of people that are not happy with the way that rank is.
Yeah, another change is they said improvements to the deck builder. I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do here, but it would be nice if they just made the collections tab go away and just put it all in the play tab and let me edit my deck and delete my deck and do all that good stuff just on one area.
Yeah, it's weird that you have to go into multiple places. My also big complaint about deck builder is mobile. I don't want to have to drag the card from where it is into the thing on the left-hand side. And you do on mobile. You can't just click the card. If you click the card, it brings up the art. And on PC, it doesn't do that. If you click the card, it will spam it into the deck. I want it like that. I hate that I have to drag it.
Yeah, I think that's where the improvements to the deck builder are, because as it stands right now, I don't really see any ways to improve it other than just like minor tweaks, like you had just stated, Smithel.
Mhm.
And that is the only issue. Like, I don't like deck building on mobile. I like playing on mobile, like playing
Horrible.
games on mobile more than on
Mhm.
PC, because I like laying in my bed and just dicking around.
Yeah.
But in terms of like deck building, it is kind of a nightmare to deck build
So bad.
on the mobile.
Copying, pasting deck list. When I'll watch Casanova Gummy someone stream, and the worst part is I can't copy the text in Twitch chat, so I have to get these guys to literally DM me the goddamn deck list. But this isn't Legends of Runeterra's fault. This is a Twitch/mobile thing. Like, it's weird to me that I can't copy and paste something that's written in Twitch chat, and I have to get them to DM me the list just so I can play it. It's like, because I'm not building the deck. There is no way I'm looking at Twitch and building the deck on phone. I've done it a couple times just to do like challenges, and I hate it. Like, I've gotten used to it just because I've done it a lot, but I still don't like it. Like, they need to, like, if I want to look at the art, figure out a different way for me to look at the art of the card. Because I don't really care when I'm building my deck to look at what, like, MF looks like up close. Like, I'll look at her in the game or something like that. I don't need to see it up
All
close.
I'd have to do is make it from a tap to a hold. You hold, you see the art. If you tap it, it goes to deck.
Correct. There you go.
Oh, you can just double tap. You know, that's like another.
Smithel and Saucekay, you guys have been promoted to Riot. I'll DM the Umbridge and get you guys hired on there for the mobile team.
Yeah. Another change is in-game leaderboards, which is awesome. Not having to rely on sites like Mobalytics or something like that to see where you stand is good. So, good job. A well-needed improvement, and probably the most important one, spectator mode, which means that it is going to be significantly easier for folks that are running tournaments to be able to cast, do whatever they need to do to kind of make the tournaments run smoothly. You don't have to rely on everybody to stream their own kind of stuff.
Yeah, spectator mode comes
spectator mode.
Spectator mode comes in 100%. The second spectator mode comes in, me and Smithel will host a tournament. I'll have funds for that. We'll host a little viewers tournament. We've talked about doing it. We wanted to do it. We had 100 followers on Twitter. We're super thankful of that, and we wanted to host something after we did that. But right now, with there not being spectator mode, I like to make a spectacle of this. It's a lot of fun to show off the players that will be in the tournament, and to make a sport out of it. Like, even if it's just for fun, even if it's just for some points to buy cards, I don't really care exactly what it's for. It's nice to have a spectacle of it. Me and Smithel can cast it, or we can get people like Saucekay or other people to cast it, and it will be a good time.
Yeah, we'll do something, but yeah, I mean, at least it also kind of is, in my mindset, a indication that they are investing into this as a competitive scene. They kind of know that they need it for tournaments and all that kind of stuff, which they also very quickly mentioned at the end, is that they said that they're working on tournaments and single player experiences, but they had no other additional details, and they said they would just kind of let us know when the time comes, more of that information. So all in all, it looks to be a pretty exciting kind of 12 months that they painted for us, if you're just counting the roadmap, and even a more exciting June and July when most of this stuff is coming. So it'll definitely be good, and give people a lot of reasons to kind of jump in and play the game.
Anything else you want to add on to it, Saucekay? About
yeah, I mean, so am I allowed to talk about things that have been leaked?
Go for it.
We don't mind.
Just say it's not confirmed or anything like that.
Yeah, we just don't like to say that this is 100% happening, even though we know all of the leaks were right the last time. It's still, yeah.
But go for it, man.
But yeah, we don't mind talking about them. Go ahead.
So, one champion that I play a lot as well is Zoe, and she was leaked, so it's not confirmed. But that is a champion that I'm so excited for. And if she's anything like she is in League, she's going to be a super combo-heavy, combo-driven champion. Yep. And it's just going to hopefully break the game, and they're gonna have to nerf her. But
Yay,
like also
more
not.
Ezreals.
You mean break it like when Zoe came out in League and how she broke the game in there? Oh my god, I remember that day.
Yeah, like exactly like that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yasuo is
So,
broken in League. Look what they did in this game. He is not.
Yeah, Yas is not broken in League.
He was at one point. He isn't broken,
I mean,
but if the right player played him, he could completely dumpster a whole team, especially in solo queue.
Yeah,
he was just overstated back in the day. Like,
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, your cat joined us. What the hell? My night's been made.
She's been back there the whole time, man.
No, she just got up on the couch. I swear to God.
Well, she was there when we started. But yeah, Zoe's a fun champ to play in League, and that's one of those things that I'm excited for seeing who all they continue to kind of bring over. I keep saying I can't wait for whenever they ultimately decide to do the Void region, because I love a lot of the Void champions in League, and so
Kassadin.
Yep. I mean, there's so many cool characters in League lore to the point that I don't know. I don't want to get too hypothetical or anything like that, but the Void region would be probably my favorite because I'd also like to see not only the champs that they would bring, but the new characters or concept art and all that kind of stuff for what they would think of what else would be coming out of that region. What other kind of creatures would live there.
So what is your favorite Void champion?
I mean, if we're talking about which ones that I'd like to play those, I mean, Kassadin was a hell of a lot of fun. He's probably one of my favorites. I just like the aesthetic. I like the way he played in League.
Cho'Gath.
I mean, Evelyn's Void, right? Because she's just like that shadow creature. She's not really a person, right? Am I remembering her lore correctly?
Yeah,
I think she's Void.
And Vel'Koz is Void, correct?
Vel'Koz is definitely Void.
Yeah, 100%. Sure. Isn't but you didn't.
I couldn't remember Evelyn, but I mean Vel'Koz is
Cho'Gath though. Cho'Gath.
She might just be Runeterra. I'm not sure if she's Runeterra or if she is Void.
I'm gonna have to look it up.
Cho'Gath stuns the whole board. Yasuo incoming, top tier. Come on, man. It's gonna be lit. Cho'Gath stuns the whole board, you know.
What region are you?
Basically what he does in TFT, so,
I mean, honestly, I think Yasuo is in a good place right now. I don't think he needs any buffs or nerfs. I just think he needs more support for him to really pop off.
Yeah.
And to become as oppressive as he should be.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be oppressive. Like, I love to play me a good Yas, but I kind of like it that if you don't get exactly what you need, intimidating war, the player to not have big cards on board, you literally stun their whole board, like, you win the game. Yeah, the other day, I literally auto-surrendered after I had, 3 cards left. He put Intimidating Roar down. I was like, yeah, no, my whole board's getting cleared. He's leveling up. I'm good. GG. You win this one.
Evelyn is not Void. Evelyn is not Void.
What is
but
she?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Void champions right now. Cho'Gath is one of them. No, I didn't realize he was Void.
That's why I kept telling you that. You weren't ignoring me.
No, I was listening. I'm sorry. I was looking up, trying to figure out who's there. But yeah, Kassadin good. Malzahar.
Yeah, Malzahar. Yeah. I forgot about him. What would he do? Because he summons... He's a summoner, is he not? Like, he's kind of like Annie?
I mean, it depends on where they'd want to bring the kit, because he has a summon, he has a silence, he has a stun on his ult, like a lockdown.
Silence would be cool if a champ, basically ran, Purify, on his
Evelyn
kit.
Is just Runeterra, yeah. I mean, yes, I mean, they could bring him a lot of ways. Like, he has an AoE on his kit, he has silence,
What's Fiddlesticks? Shadow House?
Just Runeterra.
Yeah, there's a lot of just Runeterran champions.
But
he's creepy.
Fizz is technically just Runeterra too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but according to lore, so I mean, it's one of those things they could bring.
Fiddle would just go into shadow, 100%. If they put him anywhere, just because of his new character skin, dude, the dude looks creepy as shit. He would throw it into Shadow House. Oh yeah, he does. His art looks so sick, but yeah. I'll be excited to see what they could do with him because he's a full silence champ. So they haven't really released anything about silence in this game. Would silence act like a purify? Would it only silence an ability for one round? Would it? I don't know.
Yeah.
If it could silence Last Breath or something like that,
Yeah.
like just for a round, that would be kind of cool.
And
Only on attacking.
And I will say too, if we're talking about Zoe and kind of leaks and what we're expecting to see Targon being the next region, I mean, if you get Targon, and I haven't followed the leaks as closely.
Isn't Thought Kench going to be in that though?
Tom Kench, he's not Targon.
I thought he was Targon.
No, he's Bloodwater. Yeah, people
yeah,
are
he's a
anticipating
fucking
him.
pirate. My bad.
Yeah, him or TF were the ones.
He will be coming later on. It's just we don't know when. They did find his voice lines.
But I mean, Targon. I mean, you're gonna get the Zoe. I mean, I would love to see Aurelian Soul, just because I'd like to see how they put him in there. But
yeah, dragons are awesome in anything ever.
Shyvana was so much fun in TFT.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's Demacia, and we don't need to make Demacia better. So.
Oh, true. She can stay. But what about like this is the one thing, like we have them in the game, but what's that? What's the little things? What is Teemo? What are they called? Yordles.
Oh.
I want to see like Nar and shit. Like that character is so fucking funny. So cute and fuzzy, and then like turns into.
Nar's Freljord, and I like his concept too.
Wait, he's Freljord, really?
Yeah. He was basically, if I remember his lore correctly, he's a Yordle that basically was frozen in ice for like forever. You know?
Oh, yeah. But does he even have ice abilities in League? Like, I'm not actually too familiar.
No, he just gets really pissed.
Yeah, he
becomes angry boy. He's like a Hulk, but for Yordles.
Yeah, but he's Freljord. He was frozen for.
Oh, we have a couple Yordles in the game. Time. Isn't Heimer considered a Yordle too?
No,
he's not. Really? Okay.
Yeah, fairly. I mean, is Poppy's a Yordle, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a Yordle.
Poppy 100% is.
But she's Demacia. I mean.
What about the ninja one with the little ninja star? That guy's cute as shit.
Kennen was my first love, dude. Kennen was the first champion I ever played.
He's a midget with the ninja star. That's what he is, basically. A midget with the ninja star.
Yeah, there's Kennen. I mean, if we're talking about who else we'd like to see kind of an existing...
do you want to see more ninjas? Do you think they should have like their own ninja region and like put Shen in that?
There needs to be just Ionia already.
Yeah, basically. True. Oh man, Ionia doesn't need more broken cards though. No, unless they're gonna do something with Will and Deny.
Ionia and Demacia, you have to be real careful about whatever you do with any of these mini sets, because just touching them at all, touching them at all, just could potentially just break them.
Oh shit! Something that I just saw a post on Twitter the other day. For patch 1.4, which is in basically a month from now, they were saying we want to buff some epic cards that aren't being used much. And one of the number one, just in general, they wanted people's opinions.
They said, which ones do you want?
Yeah, which ones? And the one that I saw a lot was Ren Shadow, whatever the fuck it's called.
Mm-hmm. The one that makes Shadowblade. Ren Shadowblade.
Yeah, that makes the units ephemeral. I don't know if you're listening, Riot. Please don't buff the shit out of that card, because if you do, it will not be a fun game. Basically, if you throw on anything on board that isn't a champion, it's gone next turn. That is the problem with ephemeral in general. That is what the issue with ephemeral is you only have them for one turn. So, yeah, please don't.
I actually think that card is really, really cool. I think the only issue that I have with it is that it's in Ionia.
Yep.
And so Ionia is already strong enough as a region. Yeah. But if it was like in Freljord, it'd be really exciting to see to have
some love.
Yeah. I mean, She Who Wanders needs to get buffed because they mega nerfed her. Like they nerfed her in 3 ways. They nerfed her mana cost, they removed regeneration, and they made it so you could no longer hit champions.
Yep.
And it was like, oh look, we completely destroyed the card. Well, I wonder why it's not getting played.
Yep.
Wait, it used to hit champions? When was that? Was that in closed or like alpha?
It was in the closed. It was in closed beta that you could do that.
I don't even remember that. I don't think it hit champs. At least when I got access, I don't think it was hitting champs.
I'm pretty sure I've lost a Braum to it before.
Maybe.
I can't recall for certainty, but I'm fairly
maybe
certain.
It was.
I remember playing around it multiple times.
I remember that I had a Hecarim on board because I thought Hecarim was super OP, and he was. But he was being
good.
overshadowed by She Who Wonders. Just because it was turn 6 and he ramped 3 times that game, so I played my Hecarim and he was like, "She Who Wonders, there goes your hand," and I was like, "Wait, but my champion though."
Yep.
You got Kekarimmed.
I got destroyed.
Yep.
That's what happened.
but anyway, I mean, so I don't want to go too late here because we're kind of at an hour, and I know we still got some stuff to cover. But you did bring a deck here for us too today, Saucekay. So we mentioned at the top of the show you got a Klepto deck that you've been kind of running and having some fun with.
Yeah, I mean, so I brought this to Jamfest 2 Saturdays ago. Made it to day 2, got to top 16. And won at top 16 with the deck, wasn't able to win with the other deck, so I got knocked out. But this deck has been incredible, and it's a really great answer to Heimer Vi. So if you guys run into a lot of Heimer Vi, very much strongly recommend this deck. Kleptomancy in general is just good into Ionia because you get to steal all of their Ionian cards, as well as you get to play some really nice bigger creatures that they're cheap, they're efficient at mana cost, like Jagged Butcher is a 1 mana 3/3. So it's big enough to where your opponent has to try and deal with it, but it's low enough in the mana cost to where Will of Ionia feels like a really bad removal spell for it.
Okay.
And then cards like Petty Officer, which make 2 units for 1, or you can use it to make a barrel and combo with Make It Rain or Warning Shot if they try and pop the barrel too soon. And then, you close out the game with Riptide Rex. And the best ways to do that is, hopefully on their turn, they're on the turn 8, on the attack token on mana turn 8, and you can just Warning Shot, Riptide Rex, clear their whole board. Then they have to either, if it's Ionia, they either have to Will of Ionia it, or they have to play another creature to just block it. And you just sitting pretty at that point. You're either just winning the game on that turn because you've just gotten a lot of poke in through cards like Boom Crew Rookie, Gangplank, Twisted Fate. And Twisted Fate in the deck, a lot of people especially even in Masters, they'll just really, really drastically try and do everything they can to remove Twisted Fate. And honestly, he's just there for the play effect in this deck. He's not there to try and level up at all. So
I view Twisted Fate is the same kind of way that I view Fiora, in that if I can get her to pop off, or I can get Twisted Fate to pop off and level and be able to go, ham with him, that's great. If not, just being able to play him and choose, do I want to stun a draw, or do I just basically want to do a little bit of damage across the board? That enough for me is well worth the value.
Yeah, and Gangplank. So the deck is really. I don't know if you ever played Magic, but Magic there's an archetype called Tempo, and it's a control type of deck, where all you're doing is you're just getting as much poke in each turn as you can. You're not really concerned about fighting for the board so much as concerned about being able to push damage each turn while keeping your opponent slow enough to the point where they have to continue to rebuild.
Okay.
So that's how this deck works, and Gangplank is honestly, I want to argue, the best champion in the game for that kind of play style. He gives you a barrel, so he enables cards like Make It Rain and Mystic Shot. And he's just 5/5, and he's an Overwhelm for 5. So he's a big boy, and he pushes damage really well. Yeah. And he can fight for the board, even though you don't really need him to. So he's just a great card.
Now let me get your opinion on Gangplank here. So, typically, if I hit turn 5, and let's say, it's my attack, so I get opening move, a lot of times, I'm hesitant to play him because I like the value he brings, and I'm always so worried that the opponent's just going to kind of rush to remove him, and that I almost hold Gangplank too long on these types of decks, to the point where I'm missing a lot of his value. Would you recommend just drop him on 5 and just let the opponent kind of waste resources to try to remove him? Or typically, what are your thoughts about the optimal time to play Gangplanks?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if I have Gangplank on 5, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to play Gangplank on 5, especially against Ionia, right? Because it's going to force them to use cards like Will of Ionia to get rid of him. So then they're spending 4 mana. That means that they can't, they can't develop their Heimerdinger or their Vi. And that's a win for me. I still have the barrel on board, and I can just replay him again next turn. And especially if I have two of him in hand, then I have access to parlay, and now I can parlay Heimerdinger. You know, like I'm feeling I'm feeling really good about my board state if that's the case.
That's smart.
So
that's a good way to think of it. Yeah, like the bunny on chat basically is saying he's 5 drops, just drop him, and I guess that's the way to look at it. And like I said, I think that's part of my weaknesses is kind of I overthink about when to drop certain things. And a lot of times I hold things longer than I need to and waste a lot of value that way. So, no, it's good. That's good. It's information that I definitely needed.
So, what are the top mulligans? What are the good what's it good against? What's it weak against? That's what we usually ask.
So there's only one deck that you consistently feel like you're losing to, and that's deep. But burn just got like huge, like really hit. So it's like a lot less bad because they have a lot more 1 toughness minions. So Make It Rain just becomes a lot better, and Mystic Shot became a lot better against burn. So that matchup isn't nearly as bad anymore. That being said, deep is still just as bad, and the nerf to Boom Kuruki didn't help. But you could still win against deep. Basically, your mulligan is your dream mulligan is turn 1 Butcher Warning Shot. So you Warning Shot, get the activation on Butcher, and then you can attack in. Or if you're on turn 2, you can attack in for 3. A turn 1 3/3 is a lot of tempo, and it completely sets the pace for the entirety of that game. And as long as you can keep drawing at least relatively low on the curve, you can continue to pressure your opponent that way and get everything that you need to really close out the game a lot earlier in most cases than normal too. If you get that dream scenario.
Awesome.
Other than that, yeah, I mean, Boom Kurugi, Misfortune, Twisted Fate, and sometimes Gangplank. Gangplank's really good into Demacia, so very much recommend Gangplank into Demacia and against Heimerdinger as well.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this is a fun deck, and like we were saying before, is Klepto decks are, in my opinion, a lot of fun. I do think that they need to kind of touch up what they do with Klepto in general, especially Pilfer Goods. But for the most part, I'm okay with where they stand. On a whole. So they're a lot of fun to play. I think there's a certain kind of asshole that has to play them, and I am one of those assholes. So it's one that I definitely kind of want to try out and give a little bit more of a go here. So I'll definitely let this fly here in a day or so and let you know the results.
Yeah, fair enough. So again, just like if you do get some pilfered good cards in the opening hand, like if you get a black market merchant and a pilfered goods, I'd keep those, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have a card like Boom Kuruki, right? Because you could play Boom Kuruki on 2, you get the attack token on 3. You probably haven't played anything on turn 1 anyways, so you have 1 spellbanked mana, and then on turn 3 you can attack with your Boom Kuruki. You don't care if he dies or not. You just use him to be able to proc the plunder effect. You play the black market merchant. You pilfered goods. And on turn 4, you have a bunch of cards to play for a lot cheaper than your opponent. And you really it creates so much pressure because you have so many good, efficient costing cards to be able to play now. And your opponent already has started losing their life total.
Yeah.
So,
and let me ask you this too. So if you're sitting here saying it's kind of these tempo type decks, you're just kind of wanting to get a little bit of damage in each turn and kind of chipping away at your opponent that way so they have to keep rebuilding. Do you find it beneficial? So with Gangplank's level of condition being, you've damaged the enemy nexus in 5 rounds this game. If you were holding something like Warning Shot and it's not your attack turn, and you have no other way to put damage on board, do you pop it off to try to get Gangplank leveled, or do you really care about Gangplank leveling at all that much?
I mean, I think that one is a lot more situational than most.
Okay.
But I think that if you're 4 out of 5 on Gangplank, and you have, especially if you have Gangplank on board, or if you have Gangplank in hand, and you could play him that turn.
Okay.
That's definitely a scenario where you're almost certainly going to go for that Warning Shot play.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. And that's another thing kind of when I look at these decks too is, how much value do I have to put on trying to level the Gangplank and wasting potentially spells and not getting optimal kind of benefit out of it. Just in order to try to level up a gangplank. Like, do I play Make It Rain, even if I'm only maybe putting 1 damage on a unit and damaging Nexus, but putting gangplank, maybe 1 or 2 steps out from level.
I guess my only question with this deck is, I might have been a little distracted. You might have already said this, but what's with the 2 Twisted Fate and only 1 MF?
So it's either you go to the 3rd Twisted Fate, or you it's either you go 3rd Twisted Fate or you do this 1 MF. And Twisted Fate can sometimes feel a little bit bad because you already are running 5 other 4-cost or 4-cost cards. So it just kind of clogs up the 4-mana spot, whereas you have no other 3-drops in the deck. So just being able to lower your curve just a little bit, just to be able to get that to potentially be able to get MF. MF is really, really good.
Better to just run MF instead of Twisted? Like, that's what my question is.
No, definitely not.
She
Twisted
triggers
Fate
your plunder effect, good. I guess.
So, I mean, Twisted Fate does it too with red card, right?
Yeah.
But
and you can also get the Twisted Fate on the enemy turn. You can clock it there.
Yeah, exactly. Twisted Fate's a really versatile card. He stuns, against Mono Demacia, if they manage to get a Unyielding Spirit off, being able to stun whatever target they've Unyielding Spirited is absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one of the main reasons he's in the deck. That and the fact that he's just so good. I don't know how else to express it. He kills something, he can attack in, he pushes damage because he's got quick attack. He just does everything that you need him to, and sometimes in French scenarios, MF is slightly better, but in most cases, Twisted Fate is a much better card deck.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Twisted Fate, and I definitely wasn't on the Twisted Fate train whenever they announced him. I wasn't blown away by him, especially because I'm like, oh my god, I'm playing 4 mana for a 2/2. This is the kind of shit. And then the more I started to play with him, I'm like, you know what? Maybe he's kind of a great card. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm definitely on board. But yeah, I'm loving this deck. I think it'll be a lot of fun to play and basically kind of mix things up for me. So that'd be good.
Yeah, and by the way, so my teammate Alessio, when he told me about Dreadway, I was honestly very not sold about Dreadway. I didn't think it was a very good card.
Mm-hmm.
But when you read Dreadway, when you play with Dreadway, you start to realize that if you play a Dreadway deckhand, instead of it pumping your Mystic Shot by 1, and instead of it doing 3 damage,
Mm-hmm.
it does 6 damage, not 4 or 5. It does 6 damage,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then your Gangplank, when he's flipped, if you have Dreadway out, his attack he attacks for 4, right?
Yep.
With his barrel, because he generates his own barrel. So that's insane. And also Dreadway is fearsome, which I think is like, that might be a little bit over tuning the card, considering the fact that, so you see it says 4 attack and you're like, oh, it's a 4/8. It's actually an 8/8. Yeah. So the card's incredible, and it makes your cards like Black Market Merchant hit for 4. It makes Boom Kuroki's trigger deal 4 damage. And then he also swings for 2 damage, and makes Petty Officer insane. Misfortunes like broke. It just breaks your whole deck, really. And I think as a one of, because you don't really want to draw it early, whereas Riptide Rex doesn't feel that bad to draw early because you're almost always going to play Riptide Rex at least once, whereas Dreadway, because it costs 9, it's a little bit more difficult to get off. That being said, it's an amazing closer, and I am very, very impressed with Dreadway. I think that if you guys play the deck, give Dreadway a chance before you take it out.
Yeah. That's something good. I didn't think about the interaction he had with a leveled up Gangplank who's just kind of generating barrels each time. I didn't sit there and think like, oh wait, you really are just basically using 4 damage on the ability. So yeah, that's definitely a good pair up. That's a great pair up. Cozy, any other questions on the deck, or Saucekay, anything else you want to say that maybe we didn't cover?
I'm good. I'm ready to get into a tournament talk.
Cool. Go for it, brother.
Unless Saucekay had something else to add. Are you good, Sauce?
No, I think I've really covered everything.
Perfect. All right, well, let's switch off. Last weekend was Duels of Runeterra. During Duels of Runeterra, they actually held their first C event. Ozzy was able to... Now, I should probably just preface, I'm going to start making these shorter. I feel like I do them too long. In the future, I'm going to have the decks that all of the first place players were using. But this week I didn't have the time to do it. So just going to basically go through who won and go from there. So Uzi, or technically it's Uzi, won the C event. So that was the first event. I'm excited to see more of these. In EU, Ranyu got first. Oh, Pearson made it to the finals. Just couldn't win. And then for NA, the EU guy actually won the NA event, Fresh Lobster. So that's awesome. He's a really, really good player. Really, really good. So that's... I don't think there was really any other tournaments that happened last weekend. I know there's one coming up this weekend. I think it's Jam Fest. Sauce might know better than me. I know you talked about it a little bit. Is it this weekend? Saturday?
Yeah, it's this weekend Saturday.
I think it's Jam Fest, 7? Yeah, I think it's going to be 7. Because this is 6 here, so... Yeah, so it should be Jam Fest 7, so... I think you can find her Discord on Twitter, or honestly, it's in the Masters Discord and a bunch of other Discords. So join it. Should be fun. I think is it still $100 prize pool for NA and EU this week?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so $100 for each. So it's a good time. And I'll be following up with who won the EU and who won the NA event on the next podcast next week. But that's it for me.
Awesome. Well, I think then that's probably kind of the end of the show here. I mean, we're closing in on an hour and a half here. I think it's been a relatively good time. But first, let me say, Saucekay, huge thank you for coming on the show, buddy. You brought lots of good insights for us, and hopefully our listeners agree, and maybe take something away and learn, and continue their climb up ladder or through Masters, whatever rank they are at. We do want to give you the opportunity to kind of shout out where people can follow you and keep up with what you're doing and all that good stuff. So what would be the best avenues for folks to do that?
I mean, you can watch me on twitch.tv/SaucekayTV. It is my name, Sauce, Kay, Saucekay TV at Twitch. And then you could follow me on Twitter. If you can figure out how to spell my name, which is Niv Shachaf. That's my real life name. So
we will have it all posted in YouTube links and all that kind of good stuff too. So if people don't know how to spell it, it'll be there.
You got to change to the Saucekay handle, or did someone already take it? Is that why?
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's just my real name. So.
No, I know that, but I think even mine's my real name. Like my actual account's my real name, but my @ is my gamer tag. You can change that, right? You're not locked into it. But if you don't want to change it, that's your choice.
I mean, I'm not too threatened about somebody else taking my name.
Oh, so... I don't think it was for threatening. It was to make it easier for people to find you, Saucekay. I'm just giving you an opinion.
Pull you out of your name.
Cozer, I was saying maybe I will do that because I'm not too threatened about somebody taking my Twitter handle, Niv Shachaf.
Well, you never know. It might be a very popular name.
In Israel.
Maybe someone's been looking for that name, and every time they look, they're like, fuck, this guy has it. I'm pissed. But now it's going to be free, and now they're going to take it.
Awesome. Well, anyway, we'll make sure we link it out for folks to be able
of course, it will be in there.
To be able to find you there. Let me see. So, Cozer, what about you? Where can we find you outside of the Weekly Horror Report?
Cozer88 on Twitter, Cozer88 on Twitch, YT Cozer88 on YouTube.
Awesome. And folks, if you're looking for me on Twitter, it's at Smithel Gaming. You can find me there. Twitch.tv/Smithel if you want to catch up with me on Twitch. I try to stream maybe once a week for at least a couple hours, just to let everybody see where I'm at on ladder and watch me fail miserably. If you are listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can watch us live every week at twitch.tv/weekly Poro Report. Or if you want to follow us, it is on Twitch at Poro Weekly. And obviously, there is a link to our Discord there. Feel free to join. Come talk to us if there's anything you want to see us talk about on show or discuss. Or just let us know how your climb's been going. And that's a good place to go ahead and do it. Obviously, we try to interact with our community as much as possible. And if there's anything that comes up, that's going to be one of the first places that you'll be able to see what's going on there. But again, other than that, Saucekay, appreciate you coming on, buddy. Hopefully we will have you back in the future and, and all the tournaments and everything that you will be entering and all that good stuff. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
Awesome. But with that, guys, we'll let you go and we'll see you all next week. Take care.